Looking at this picture of me back in July of 2023, I honestly don't even know who that person is, but I took some time to reflect and look at that picture to think, what were you thinking at that time? How were you feeling? Because I was overweight, I had low energy. That was the beginnings of menopause for me, so I was having hot flashes and night sweats. And no matter what I did, the weight just kept coming. And so I wasn't sure, I was very frustrated with myself at this point. And I focused on my health a little bit, but I didn't prioritize my health, like I do today, until my grandson was born and everything changed. I really wanted to make it a priority to get healthy so that I can be here for the long haul for my grandson. And now I have a granddaughter as well. And so I don't know if you are a woman over 50 and you have grandchildren yet, but I can't even explain the feeling of having grandchildren and how it just re-energizes you to do all the things so that you can be here for them. Now, mind you, I do have two sons and I love them very, very much. And I want to be there for them as well. However, grandkids are a different story. And so it just gave me that extra spark to prioritize my health. And so what did I do? I'm going to share with you what I did today, my journey, and I hope that it helps you. I, at that time, was about 194 pounds. And so I would go to the gym. I think I was a casual gym goer. Like, I wouldn't force myself to go, but maybe a couple times a week. And I decided I'm going to get a personal trainer. I need accountability. I need help because I don't even know how to use the equipment at the gym. I would get on the treadmill, maybe get on the elliptical a little bit, and then go in that room where most of the older women go to use the machines that has the little blinking light to tell you when to get on and when to get off. I think you know what I mean if you've been to these gyms these days. But I really wanted to venture over onto the weights, but I didn't know what I was doing. So I did get a personal trainer, and I met with this personal trainer 3 times a week to start with. And at that time, I also had the opportunity to meet with a dietitian. My job has a medical weight loss program, and I got an opportunity to meet with the medical doctor as well. And I would meet with them every 3 months, the medical doctor and the nutritionist. I would rotate. And we would talk about, of course, with the nutritionist, what I was eating, all of my macros. And with the doctor, he would talk to me about taking medication, and I initially just didn't want to do that. But nonetheless, I was working with the personal trainer. I was going 3 times a week. I was following all of the plans that the personal trainer had set for me, and he would do my weight and do my measurements at the beginning of every month, and I was just gaining weight no matter what. So needless to say, it was very frustrating. But I will tell you, after about a year of that madness, I decided, honestly, to go ahead and take a GLP-1. But I will say, before getting on a GLP-1, I was working out 3 times a week. I was prioritizing eating protein. I was walking every day. I was doing all the things to help build muscle before I got on the GLP-1. So for me, the GLP-1 was like a tool in my toolbox. It wasn't the one thing I did and lost the weight, because losing weight, period, you're gonna lose muscle. And at this point where I am in my journey, I lost about 22% of my muscle when I began to lose the weight, which is less than what the studies show. Studies show most people taking a GLP-1 lose about 45% of lean body mass. And just looking at my calculations, I lost about 22% of my lean body mass. So I am on a journey to get that muscle back and continue to lose fat. And I want to just share some of my numbers with you. I have what they call a bioimpedance scale. And although it's not perfect, it's better than having a scale that just gives me that number, which is my weight. Because there are some weeks that I gain weight, and if I don't go through and look at the remainder of the data, I'll be frustrated. But then I'll notice I gained muscle and lost fat, which is fine with me because I'm not concerned about being skinny. I really want to be strong. That's my goal. But I want to share some numbers with you. So I started out in July 2023 at 194 pounds. And I have some notes here just so I can give you the numbers correctly. And now where I am is around 164, 163. I kind of hover around 163, 162 on maintenance. And it was a breeze. I did take a GLP-1. Honestly, I did not go up on the dose. I stayed at the first dose and I was still able to lose the weight slowly. But nonetheless, I lost the weight about a pound a week, sometimes a half a pound a week. But what I love is I lost like 32 pounds so far since last July. And then my body fat went from 38.8% to 31.2%, which is huge loss of body fat. And then my visceral fat, and that's the fat that was covering my organs around my midsection. This is huge. I went from 15 to 9 since July of 2025 when I started, really, losing the weight. And then this is the thing that really got me. When I first got on this bioimpedance scale in 2025, the scale said my age was 60, and I was not 60, trust me. And that was a bit frustrating. They take all those calculations and all that data and give you your metabolic age. And so now today, my body age is 57, and I am over 57, but I'm grateful that my body age is going in the right direction as well. So like I said, transparently, I did take a GLP-1 to get the weight off. But like I said, that was a tool in my toolbox. I have been lifting weights, building muscle. As a matter of fact, I was in my garage where our gym is located now, and I looked over at my weights, and I can remember going to the store to buy some dumbbells, and I had 10-pound dumbbells, 12-pound dumbbells, 15-pound dumbbells. I barely even use those dumbbells these days. I really don't. I am all the way up to 30-pound dumbbells when I do like my upper body weights with the dumbbells. And last week, I heard a statistic that said you should be able to do a farmer's carry, which is take your body weight, divide it in half, and split that in half, which for me was 40 pounds of dumbbells on each side, and walk for a minute. And I did that with 40-pound weights on both sides, just walking, doing a farmer's carry. So I'm so proud of myself that I don't even look at the weights that I bought about 2 years ago, the 10-pound weights, the 12-pound weights, the 15-pound weights. I don't even look at them. So I am getting stronger in that aspect. I'm lifting heavier weights. So I will say, as you start to lift weights, if you do nothing else, just look at how you are able to increase your load of weights when you're working out, and that'll show you how much stronger you're becoming with lifting weights. Now, the lessons I learned was after the age of 50, we start to lose weight, muscle mass at a very high rate, and they call that sarcopenia. And we can't afford to lose muscle at all. That's why my motto is strong over skinny. I don't want to be skinny anymore. I've been skinny most of my life until I got around 50. But I want to be strong. And so we start to lose muscle, so we have to prioritize building muscle if we want to make sure we're healthy for the long haul. Muscle is like, I call it my 401k. I know if you're over 50, you're thinking about retirement, it's haunting you if you haven't prepared financially, but it haunts me because I want to be muscle centric as I get older, because I know that's going to help keep me healthy, keep me out of the hospital, keep me from getting chronic illnesses and things like that. So muscle is like better than our 401k. And so we want to lose fat, build muscle, but there are 3 things we have to do to build muscle. And the first thing, like I just said, is we have to strength train. And that has to be a priority. And I'm not asking you to go to the gym and go to that section where all the guys are that's lifting all those weights. That is a very intimidating section. But get you some dumbbells and some few like resistance band to start. And just start working out at home until you feel a little more confident about going to the gym, or get a personal trainer as I did. The second thing you have to do is you have to prioritize protein. And so eating protein is key. It's like you can't build a house without a foundation. You can't build muscle without having enough protein in your diet, because protein is the building blocks of muscle. And if we don't get enough protein in, it's you can't build muscle, because you just don't have those building blocks there to help you build that strong, what I call skeletal house, which is your body. And so you have to prioritize getting enough protein. And there is research that shows we should get about 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per ideal body weight. For me, that ends up somewhere around 100 grams per day. I work hard to get 100. If I get over that, that's kudos for me, but I try not to go under that. So that looks like 30 grams of protein for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then a couple of snacks in between. That's going to give me some protein as well to get that 100 grams of protein in. So you have to strength train, and you have to prioritize getting protein. And then the other thing that we really have to do to build muscle is, which to me is most important, is just understand the mindset of why you need to build muscle. Muscle is more important than being skinny. And I know that everyone talks about being skinny and thin and all that. I don't think that's as healthy. I know that's not as healthy as building muscle. So we have to change our mindset and make sure we understand the reason why we're building muscle is so that muscle can protect us as we age against chronic illness, against if we slip, trip, even if we fall. Hopefully we won't break a bone and have to go have surgery, because if you break one of the large bones, a lot of what research shows is that you have an increased risk of all-cause mortality because of that broken bone as we get older. And so we don't want to break bones, because we don't heal as fast as we age. So in this current season that I'm in what we call maintenance. I do see my doctor about every 3 months. I see the nutritionist still every 3 months. And we really don't have a whole lot to talk about, but I am still in the program. So with the nutritionist right now, we're focusing on increasing my fiber intake so that will help me continue to lose the fat and build muscle. And then with the doctor, he's just checking in to see how I'm doing without the medication. Do I still want more medication? That's pretty much where his goals are. But my last conversation with them was a couple of weeks ago, and I'm feeling kind of like I really don't need to be speaking with them every 3 months, but it's good to have that accountability. So again, I just want to say that you need to find your why. Why do you feel you need to get healthy so that you could be here for the long haul? For me, it was my children, of course, but my grandchildren. I just love spending time with them. I love getting on the floor with them. I love picking them up and just being able to get outside and run and play with them and not feel like I'm out of breath or I'm sore the next day. So find your why for why you need to build muscle and stick to that, get motivated, build muscle, and I hope to see you in the next video.